Hey everyone, Josh here with Fresh Start Customs, and today I've got a super useful video here for you guys to show you how to turn your Etsy listings into a little bit more polished photos here. So this is going to help you out a lot. So for example, I'm going to show you how to change something like this into something like this. So this is going to help you out quite a bit here. It's going to be a little bit longer of a video. I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible. So we're going to do an easier version. I'm going to explain the harder version. And then it's just going to come down to how much time and effort you want to put into your photos. So let's go ahead and jump into this really quick today. So for the easier example, it's going to be this one, and we're going to turn it into this. So this is already a nice photo, but I need it to be a 4:3 aspect ratio, and I want to get rid of this hard line here in the background. So it depends on how nice you want your photos to look and how much time you want to put into it, like I said. With all that out of the way, I do want to give you guys a heads up. If you hear any clicks or taps, that is probably my mouse or keyboard. I'm on a new computer system today. I'm working out the kinks and I need to get a new mouse pad. So if you hear that, that's why. So let's jump into this video today here. We're going to be doing the easier one first, and then I'll explain a couple tips and tricks that you can do to even enhance it even more. Let's go ahead and jump into this today. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to make a selection of the center here. There's many selection tools in Photoshop. If you've used Photoshop before, you probably know all of them. There's like the rectangle tool or the shapes tool, the lasso tool, your selection tools like your object selection, your quick selection, magic wand. Any of them will have this select mask option here. So what I usually do is I just click the Shapes tool. It's just the second one from the top there. Click Select a Mask, and you'll see this Select Subject button up here. You're going to click on that, and then it's going to automatically select your subject for you. It's super cool as long as it works. And this is an easy example because your background is solid white or a solid color. It's going to be able to detect that a lot easier. And that's what's going to make the difference between this one easy and then this other photo that I can't click on right now harder. We're going to jump to that here in just a second. But there are these pre-built-in editing options to try to remove the center. But if I try and do that, as you can see, it selects some of that label. So I'm going to do that outside of this. I always like to work outside of this after. But all you need to do here, once you have your object selected, is come down here to Output To and choose Layer Mask. What that's going to do is make this a non-destructive project so we can always add or subtract from it. So that's looking great so far. But we're going to zoom in here. We're going to remove this center part because that's going to kind of blend in and mess with our background after. So I'm going to just use the Quick Selection tool. Let's select that. As you can see, it did the same thing as inside that other program, the Select Subject program, and it selected part of our label. We don't want that. So just to be cleaner, you can use the pen tool and kind of just click right here on this side of the label and click over here on this side of the label. And then just work your way around and connect the two dots. And what we want to do is remove this selection. So we're going to click Selection here up top left of your screen. And you have some options with the pen tool. So I could either make this the actual selection by clicking New Selection. We don't want to do that. You can add to it. We don't want to do that either because that would just select more of the label. What I want to do is subtract from it. So we're going to click Subtract, click OK, and as you can see, it removed that part of the selection, and just this inside is here. Like I said, you can take more time and get all the way up into the nooks and crannies of these little sides here if you want to, but for the sake of the video, I'm not going to do that. So once you have your selection made, we're just going to hit delete, but before you do that, you want to make sure you're on your layer mask here. It's this black little image. That way it's non-destructive and you can get it back if you mess up. So we hit delete just like that, and you're good to go. So I'm going to just click once with any selection tool just to deselect that, and I'm going to zoom out by hitting Control 0, or you can use your zoom button here on the left hand side. And now that we're almost done, we have our actual product selected. We can move this around wherever we want. We can change the backgrounds to whatever we want. And then there's a few more tweaks that we need to do to make it look nice and neat. So now that we have this selected, I always like to do the cropping option now. So you can click your crop tool. I need it to be a 4:3 aspect ratio, so as you can see this is 4:3, but it'll maintain that size as long as you have it selected. If you don't have 4:3, you can click this drop down option and click new crop preset, and you can type in 4:3, it'll do it automatically for you. Or if you need the photo to be a square, you can change it to a square. You can change it to whatever you want. I use 4:3, so I'm going to do that with this video here. So let's just say we're going to give it a little bit extra room. Let's say that looks great. We're going to click the check box here. And so far it's looking great. Right now we still don't have a background. So what we want to do is create a new layer and move that layer down below this. And then you can go to your paint bucket and you can select any color that you want as a background. I always like to do this like creamy gray color versus pure white, just so the product doesn't get washed out by the white. But you can choose whatever you want. If you like pure white better, that's fine. And then when you have the background selected, just click anywhere with your paint bucket, and there you go. That is the product there. And now all we need to do is add a drop shadow to it to make it look a little bit more like it's there in the white background. To do that, you'll just select your top layer here, right click, go up to blending options, click on drop shadow, and then you can actually click on it itself, and you can change the direction of the shadow if you want to. As you can see on the left over here, that shadow is moving around. So let's just say we like it there. You can actually change the distance of the shadow, so if you want it to be really shadowy, you can. I usually like it about 15 or 16, and you just click OK, and that's it. You have now made your product photo here. So you can save this as a copy as a JPEG, or you can save it as a Photoshop file. I would recommend doing both. That way you can always come back and edit this. So you can edit this anytime if you save the Photoshop file, and you can move it around, and then you can add another product next to it. So like this product I showed you earlier, if I want to grab that, I can bring that over to this file and drop it here. And then we can have these side by side. I can even put one behind another like this, so it looks kind of cool, like it's there in person. So yeah, you can edit that however you want, whatever you want. So with all of that out of the way, I'm going to show you a real quick bonus tip here. So let's say, for example, you want to get rid of some of these defects in the wood. Just make sure you have this this white section selected this time, the actual cutout here. I always like to use the spot healing brush. It's a little bit quicker than selecting and using content aware. What this does is it filters the pixels around your brush here, and then it kind of just makes things disappear. Works great. So you can just get rid of any flaws in the wood like this if you want to make them look nice and neat. And then you can do it for engravings too. So let's say you spelt made on a farm wrong or something, you can just get rid of it here. And then you can add in your own text, change the colors of the text if you want to add different custom engravings. That way you can get multiple variations of your product. So I did that, for example, I did that with this. I changed the logo from this into a made-up company here that I made, and I made a real quick logo for it. And this is my end result here. I kept the flaw up top here. I kind of like giving the wood a natural look there. But yeah, you can do whatever you want. So it went from that to this. And yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. For the harder ones, like I said, this one, the only reason why it's harder, it's going to take more time to edit out all of the insides after you do that selection. So for example, we're going to do that select and mask again, click select subject, and as you can see, it thinks this is part of the design, it thinks this is part of the design, all of the insides here. So after you click OK, you're just going to have to go around and either delete or restore parts of this. So to restore parts of it really quick, I don't think I touched on that, but let's say you wanted to restore some of this. This is going to be super rough because I'm going to use a lasso tool. But let's say you just want to restore like this section here. Make sure you're on your mask section here, that black icon again. Hold down Alt and then click Delete, and as you can see, that restored part of your image. So that's how you do the restore. The delete is just the delete button. And you can go through and you can make this as quick as you want with like quick selection tools like this. And then just hit delete and that will get rid of it. But it may look a little grainy, or you may miss little tiny parts in there. Or you can go as detailed as you want with like the pen tool, and then just go through and click through and select it all. That takes a lot more time, but it's more detailed. That's what I tend to do, but it does take a long time there. So those are all the different options. Those are all the different variations that you can do. I hope this video helped you guys out, taking your photos to the next level. Other than that, it's been Josh with Fresh Start Customs, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.